Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. Today we are at Hotel Europejski, one of the most expensive hotels in all of Poland. The secret to keeping such a prestigious status relies on preserving history and providing luxurious accommodation. Today we will learn more about one of the most exclusive jewels of Warsaw.
Today we will be talking to Mr. Andrzej Mauberg, a member of the management board of the Hotel Europejski. We will be discussing the process by which the descendants of the families who owned the hotel before the Second World War were able to see the hotel returned to them after decades of being owned by the Polish state.
In 1948, the hotel was taken away, and I was wondering what are the struggles at the time for the family and what are the efforts being exerted to retake the hotel?
This is true. This is, in 48, Poland was behind the Iron Curtain. There was a different, this was a communist regime,
very different,
newly established. And so we went under the water or emigrated, the part of the family, and many of Poles emigrated during the war, after the war, and in 48 till the end of the communist regime. So basically everything was nationalized. So there was no private property in Poland. My uncle, who was running the hotel 2 years after the Second World War ended, Stefan Czetwertyński, the son of Seweryn Czetwertyński, has been jailed. And the property was taken from the family by the state, and after the wars, because Warsaw, as you know, was almost totally destroyed.
Yes, it was razed to the ground.
So the building was pretty much destroyed, and family Stefan Czetwertyński started to rebuild from trash this hotel, and as I said, in 47 he was jailed. The property was taken by the state, and it was used by the army. So the Polish army organized here the place for the sort of a hotel for the officers and the school. So it was like that until the end of 50s.
Right.
And early 60s or end of 50s, early 60s, the building was taken by the Orbis. Orbis is the national hotel chain. At the time was the national hotel chain. And the work started to reconvert the building back to the hotel function. And it was done in 62.
So a lot of twists and turns.
Absolutely. But this is part of our history of the city. Destruction, rebuilding, Germans, Nazis, communists, Russians, etc. But what it stems from us, and this is well known, that the Poles are people who never give up. So there is even a Polish anthem, Polish song, Kiedy my żyjemy, whenever we are still alive, we will fight. This is the sort of this family history, this building is about the fighting to get it back, to rebuild, and to start again.
Right. It's like almost as if the hotel is like a very microcosm of the society at the time as a whole, right? How it rise through hardships and rebuild along with the city lines and absolutely
the story, which in fact ends with the happy end at the end, because the regime, communist regime, collapsed. It took us over 15 years, 15 years to legal battle to get the property back. Orbis didn't want to give it back, and so we had to fight in the courts. It took us 15 years, but finally in 2005 it was the property was taken over by the family and by the company, which was pre-war company which owned this building, and this company belonged to the family. And I want to pay a tribute to Loïc Guibourget, who came from France. He's a husband of my cousin, and lead this process since the beginning till the 2012, in fact.
Mr. Mauberg and the representatives of the other families of the pre-war owners had to wait decades before the hotel was finally restored to them. Owned by the Polish state since it was seized under the Beirut Decrees in 1948, the heirs of the original owners finally succeeded in having the Hotel Europejski returned to them in 2005 after a long legal battle.
After the family take back the property from the communists, several years of communist management, then I would imagine a lot of work needed to be done, like renovations, innovations. And I was wondering how the family managed to tackle the tasks. Did they team up with any people? What are the ideas that they have to kind of bring the place back to shape?
Yes, absolutely, and you are right. This was, in fact, a gigantic, immense work to be done. It would have been easier and cheaper to build it from scrap, from nothing, than to renovate, because it's the building is under scrutiny of national heritage, so everything had to be done with the permission of the administration, and it required enormous works, preparatory works, and then before the construction. In fact, the construction was the end part and the easiest or the shortest part. The longest was the preparation to start the reconstruction in the building. What you say, the communist management, I would say it was a mismanagement rather than management. And so the building was in the really very bad shape, and obviously the family didn't have the money, sufficient means to make this investment, and we were lucky. We have managed to invite the very nice family, another family from Swiss-Polish family, Vera Michalski-Hoffmann, who is known from her activity in the publishing, in the books publishing, in Poland, in Switzerland, in France, in other countries. And she was she knew obviously the building during the communist years. She stayed here, and she decided to join the road and to join together to make this investment together. And we see now the results. The Raffles came. Raffles, I can tell you, when the guy from Raffles, the CEO of Raffles, came before the renovation, and he saw, we invited him to come to Warsaw, and he just, after 5 minutes, I knew that he was so amazed by the volume, by this building, the character of this building, that he was impressed. And he said very, very clearly that Warsaw at that time was not on the radar screen of Raffles, but because of this building, it became. Because the opportunity like that you don't miss.
As I know, the hotel has gone under renovation. And I was wondering about how long it took and what are the hurdles, the hardships that you really have to struggle through, to get everything done.
Yeah, indeed, it took far longer than normally it is required, but it was started by the company without no capital, basically. So we had to secure the financing. We had to imagine what we want to do with this building, with this very prestigious and iconic building. And it took some time to have to create a business model for this building. And we decided to make this building not only a hotel, but also an office and retail space with the common denominator luxury, because of the place, because of the history, because of the prestige. That's why we have on the top floors, you see this modern part of the building, which is 21st century. It is not 19th century. It's steel and glass and aluminium, very nicely fitted in this 19th century form as designers by Marconi. And it took some time to convince the authorities, the national heritage, that we can do this junction together. This is the first sort of this type of the junction between the old and new in the city. It took us couple of years, in fact. Many projects, many architects to be consulted, and then we finally found this one, which you can see on the top of the building. And it added an office space, which was required to make this business stable. The luxury hotel at the time we were starting this investment was something people were a little bit afraid, because Poland was considered as a cheap country for the economic hotels and not for the luxury. Here now you see this beautiful place, and you say the same luxury you can see in London, Paris, whenever. And there is no compromise, in fact. You have to be, the luxury is luxury.
Hotel Europejski has 150 years and counting of very interesting history. And the fact that the history is preserved and the personal touch of the place is what gave it the standard for the best hotel in Poland and has set the standard ever since. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. I'll see you next time on Poland Daily History.